fight there with Danny and Peterson. So we'll see what happens in the near future.
When do you think that? Did he say anything about when it's going to happen?
No.
Are there other bouts you're looking to do in main events as well?
Well, we haven't really discussed anything, but look, like I said, we are open to working with anybody. As long as we can make great fights, that's all that matters to me. You know, Golden Boy Promotions, and I'm sure all the other promoters and main events, and you know, we're all about not building walls but building bridges. You know, and that's what boxing needs at this moment. And so with me on the helm at Golden Boy, you know, I'm gonna make fights as a fighter. You know, thinking as a promoter, but also as a fighter, which obviously will inject some excitement to back to boxing. As a fighter, you know, I was waiting for that one moment. I was waiting for that one moment, for that one punch that he can land. You know, I mean, I did see Bernard Hopkins have difficulties, but I still felt that he was in control. That something wanted to make me believe that he was in control. You know. I mean, maybe it's because he's my partner at Golden Boy. Maybe it's because you know, I've built just a great relationship with him. So, or maybe it's just because he's 49 years old and I'm giving him all the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna land that perfect punch and shock the whole world. I was playing it in my head. You know, it's like I don't know why, but I kept on hearing like a Howard Cosell in my head, that voice, like, you know, shocking the world. Bernard Hopkins, one punch. But hey, he faced a crusher. He faced a guy that is no joke. But look, that's Bernard Hopkins. I mean, he'll tell you for himself. I mean, facing the very best, the toughest, at 49 years old. I mean, it's like win or lose, draw. I mean, he's a radio winner in my book.
Were you surprised at all by Sergey's technical skills, his head movement, his patience?
I was actually surprised, yes. I was actually surprised because he would engage and he would throw his thunderous punches, and then he would take a step back. He wasn't waiting that extra second to get hit. He was taking a step back, and that really presented, I mean, that caused Hopkins to think twice of throwing his punches. So, no, he did a great job. I mean, there's nothing you can say but good things about Kovalev. He did a tremendous job.
Why were you so confident that Saddam was ready for this step up? His dad said that this was 20 steps up. I mean, it could have been, you know, kind of disastrous if he had gotten knocked out. Why were you so confident?
Well, because of his amateur experience. And I saw something in him in his last fight where actually he didn't really look too good. Not like tonight. But I saw something that that made me feel that he's ready for the next step, you know. I think one thing about Saddam is that the tougher the challenge that's in front of him, the better he's gonna do. You know, and this was the perfect fight for him because it just now he's free. Now he knows in his head, now he knows in his heart that he belongs there with the best. I mean, this was the perfect fight for him. It was a dangerous fight, but it was a perfect fight.
What are your thoughts on the last round, that very last round? What was your thought when you took out his tongue at Sergey, and Sergey just went off on him?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were still, you know, Hopkins he's gonna land that perfect punch. He's gonna make him fall into the trap. I was thinking that till the last second, he's gonna make him fall into the trap, but look, Sergey's just he's a good fighter. He's a really good solid fighter. Who? I'm sorry? Peterson?
He's not a four. He's not a four.
Sir, I agree with you 100%. Believe me, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's that same frustration that you're feeling, I'm feeling it too. Believe me. Okay, listen, he'll be here shortly. Bernard Hopkins, he's just doing his exams just to make sure everything's okay. So.
Hey, Oscar, do you think he took too much punishment in the 12th round?
He took some heavy shots. Yes, he did. You know, Bernard Hopkins is the type of fighter that will slip a few here and there, and you'll never catch Hopkins solid with a punch. He took a few solid punches, but he seemed okay. He seemed okay. I mean, we looked at each other inside the ring, and you know, he took a deep breath. Like, I mean, this guy was a tough guy. You know. But he'll be okay.
Oscar, what did you think in that first round when Kovalev scored the knockdown on Hopkins?
I felt it was a punch, yes, but kind of like one of those flash knockdowns, you know, that I don't think he was hurt. I don't think he was hurt. It was a good punch. He landed the punch. He obviously deserved the knockdown, but I don't think it was one of those punches that was gonna kind of shake up Bernard Hopkins and wobble his legs.
What do you think it was that Hopkins was not able to do?
Oscar,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, thank you. What do you think it was that Bernard was not able to do to Kovalev, so that he was never really able to turn the tide the way he has in the past?
He was, I believe, this is my humble opinion, I just believe that Kovalev was just, you know, using his distance, you know, and timing Hopkins instead of just coming in and using his power and you know, and he was timing him. He knew when to get out, just on time, so Hopkins won't come back with his counter punches.
Oscar, do you feel Kovalev was a better fighter after the fight than he thought he was going into the fight?
Yes, I give a lot of credit to Kovalev. I mean, to beat somebody like Hopkins, and I don't care how old he is. It doesn't matter how old he is. To beat somebody like Hopkins, I mean, Kovalev did a tremendous job. He executed his game plan perfectly, and that's not easy to do against a legend like Bernard Hopkins.
To follow that up, you knew that he had punching power. Did you know he had that kind of athletic ability and maybe the boxing ability?
I really didn't know he had it because I've never seen it quite like this against a slick boxer like Bernard Hopkins. So he, you know, I mean, obviously what it does to you as a fighter, facing a Hopkins, a legend, it takes you up to a whole new level. So I'm sure Kovalev is gonna become a complete fighter now because of this experience. So I mean, look, Kovalev is a tremendous fighter, and so I mean, Kathy at Main Events has a great fighter on her hands, and who's gonna do big things. So you know, congratulations. I honestly think that Bernard Hopkins can go down in weight and challenge, let's say, for instance, a Julio Cesar Chavez, or he can challenge a fighter like Triple G, You know, he can come up 100 to 170 pounds or 168. You know, fighters like that, why not? You know? I don't know what he'll do. But one thing for sure I know is that he's not going to retire. Yes, please.
Different events the same night.
Thank you.
My question is, what is the plan to make you fight against Steve?
Well, there's no plan at the moment. Sergey is going to go home and meet his son, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. He hasn't met him yet. And then I'm going to talk to Peter Nelson from HBO next week, and we'll start working on his next fight. But at this point, there's no definitive plan to do anything. I would like it to be the best deal. This one was for the glory. Next time we're fighting for money.
Kathy, how fulfilling is this, given all that you've had to go through to get him a big fight? You wanted to get Stevenson, he goes to Showtime. You end up fighting
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
First of all, that's what we want to do. Make big fights, right, Kathy? Right, big fights, right, Oscar? We want to make big fights with all the champions. And when you put two guys in there that has pride and has championship titles, whether they legends or they new champions, or current champions who got to build their legacy up from there. This, what you do, this what you risk, and this what boxing should be all about. And this is what you'll get. So I just hope everybody enjoyed the main event, because there's more to come, at least from us. I can't speak from any other promoter, but at least from us, Golden Boy Promotion is looking to do big fights in big weight division. And the light heavyweight division, you've just seen the best of the best in the ring. Any questions?
What about you? What about you fighting again?
What about me?
You said you want to be the best of the best. What about seeing you fight again?
Me fighting again?
Yeah. Golovkin or Chavez or somebody?
Asking me to fight right now, just like asking a woman that just was in 9-hour labor to have another baby. So, but I tell you what, I tell you what, you can't take nothing away from the champ. You can't take nothing away from Kovalev. Sergey, he fought a smart fight. He knew to do the things that not engage in something that was going to benefit me, which is, my style. But he fought a good fight, and you know what? Tonight was a good night for the light heavyweight division and for boxing. I really mean that. As this is the business side of Bernard Hopkins talking, because I have enough sense and enough knowledge of the game to understand whether we talk before the fight. Y'all know what that is. Most of us mean it, but at the end of the day, this is what this should be about. I don't duck anyone, he don't duck anyone. And we showed tonight, we gave y'all, I hope and sure, some entertainment. And so, let's just hope this becomes something very, very, common in boxing. Any more questions? Yes. Yeah.
You'll always number one debate.
Okay.
After going 12 rounds of fighting, I don't remember nobody right now.
Dan.
When he's done, come in.
Dan, go ahead. Dan, go. Bernard, over here.
Can you assess Kovalev's punching power? He did drop you. That's not a common thing. What kind of puncher is he really? I've seen so many great knockouts.
Well, I think, not taking nothing away from him, but I think that one or two of those punches was flash knockdowns. It wasn't a punch where I was all over the place. I recovered very quickly, as you know. Well, I think the fight went the distance. But he's a I just had a great chin. I can take a punch. I mean, forget the age. I can say 49 years old, 50. Bernard, you can take more than a punch. I'm not going to even ride on that. Y'all make that assessment. But I think, and I've never been in a business to prove whether I can take a punch or not, because I try to tell the fighters, including Sergey right now, is that you don't last long trying to take punches and proving you can take punches. Yes, we know that it's a possible chance you're going to trying to hit somebody, but the volunteer to say you can take one is a fool. And if you want to stay around and be a great champion, that advice will take you a long way, because you got the skills, as you know. You got the titles to prove it. So my thing is, this man is a champion. As far as I'm concerned, he is the guy to beat at the light heavyweight division. And so for credibility, well, that's why I took a shot, because the danger is always there with a puncher. And obviously, the other light heavyweight didn't want to fight him. And I chose to fight him. And I'm not looking for a cigar for second place or a pat on the back. No, I'm not, because I'm not that type of guy. But I'm just saying I recognize real. And I've been in there with a lot of great fighters, from the middleweights to now. And Sergey is the real deal. I don't care if he's from here, United States, or Russia, or whatever, you got to respect the man. And I respect him, and I'm pretty sure he respects me too.
Were you determined to last out that 12th round?
I was determined to try to hit him so I could put him down. Did that look like it was trying to survive in the 12th? We was rumbling. I mean, think about it. It wasn't, listen, I could have tried to hold him and grab him with most sensible people would have tried to do, right? I was trying to swing and hopefully get some shots in where things can be changed around to the end. And that's what you're seeing in the 12th round. So no, I wasn't going to run around and hold and do things to just get by and say I survived. When you look at it tomorrow, when it's replayed on HBO, you will see in your own living room that me and Sergey was throwing punches all the way up to the bell ring. And that's what it's all about. Yes, I'm always a smart thinking fighter first, but sometimes you just gotta bite down, man. And he bit down, and I bit down. And you know, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that.
Bernard, Oscar was talking about his ability to not fall into the traps that you've set in the past, and to keep distance. What is your overall assessment, scouting report, post-fight on him? Break it down on him.
Well, everything just was said. I mean, it's not even hard to really to try to explain what you've already seen and what we just already talked about with the 3 or 4 questions before yours. First of all, he has, I believe, would be a Hall of Fame trainer who worked with me and I worked with him, and it's John David Jackson. And you got to give him the respect. Because John David Jackson, from whatever you think, is a school student of the game, and he comes from the school of the game. And he had just as much training in Philadelphia when he lived there for many years, like myself. So you gotta look at his teacher too. Not a trainer, a teacher. And you gotta look at that. And you gotta look at now what the product become. And that's just what it is. So when you got that, you can't take it for granted. You can't take that particular Sergey for granted, because you know he got a good teacher. You know, we say what we say to try to throw things off, but at the end of the day, we know that John been in the trenches with us. John been in the trenches by himself in Philadelphia for many, many years when he was champion. It's John David Jackson. So that has to be respected, and that played out today. So you have to give him credit and applause right now, because he did a fine job.
Bernard, you had mentioned immediately afterwards some of the things that Sergey was doing that were giving you trouble. What were the things that you felt that you couldn't do during the fight?
Well, first of all, I couldn't overpower him. I couldn't overpower. I don't know if he just felt I just felt like a middleweight in there, maybe a super middleweight, and then with a cruiserweight. I don't know what it looked like to y'all, but I couldn't get in the range that I wanted to get into. And the range was the length, whether it was his height, his reach, his stepping back, because he was stepping back when I wanted to engage, and that's smart, because we are taught not to engage because a guy your opponent want to engage. I mean, you fight when you want to fight. You make him fight when you want to fight. That's part of the strategy of any seasoned fighter is taught from a teacher that had been taught himself. And that's what it was. I really couldn't get inside to do the work I wanted to do. And I had some success, but not a lot. I had some success here and there, but it wasn't enough to put some early rounds in the bank and get his respect to the point where he got off his game, because he never got off his game. And there was some excitement at the end, but he controlled it earlier more than I did, or I got my little rounds at the end of the fight.
And how much or how little of that do you feel is because you're 49 and can't do maybe what you might have been able to do a few years beforehand?
Well, everything he did because I'm 49 then. No. Listen. My age has been well publicized. I'll be 50 January 15th. I'm closing in on it. And like I said, I won't teach my kids or anybody else to be happy for second. I don't like to lose. My track record shows that. And to say 50, you won because of the age, that's taken away from him, and I don't think nobody should do that. I think that being 50 and being me is different than any other fighter you can put in there in any era. With any guy that would do the game plan or map the game plan or study the game plan that Sergey did, you just got to take your head off to him. But I know for a fact that win, lose, or draw, I don't go out saying I'm 49 because things didn't go my way. Because if you ain't supposed to be in there, you shouldn't be in the ring, no matter what age you are. If you don't want to be in there, what age you lose, you lose. So my thing is, I want to go in there and make history and be the light heavyweight champion of the world. Like I said to Oscar when he was throwing this fight and putting this fight together. And I told the world I wanted to leave the game, or at least establish what I did in the middleweight division. And I had my shot, and that's cool. That's what happens. Next.
One more question. Right here.
Bernard.
Bernard, you're one of the greatest fighters of my generation. Nobody should have a problem co-signing that. I might be speaking very prematurely. Any chance of a rematch?
A rematch for who?
The gentleman.
What?
Any chance of a rematch?
Man, I ain't figuring. What? Yeah, no, we get a rematch at so we can eat a burger quicker. A veggie burger.
Bernard.
Can you stand up so he can
Sorry,
see?
Bernard.
Right, last question.
Bernard, we spoke Wednesday on the radio, and I asked you if you won, what would it mean? You said that'd be like asking Jordan which one of his 6 rings did he like the most.
You say great answer.
And I didn't have anything to say, but now that you got in the ring and saw how skilled he was, do you feel a sense of accomplishment that you got through this from where you were when we spoke the other day?
So you're asking me, do I feel a victory because I got through
Not
12?
victory, a sense of accomplishment that you got through.
If
Now
it's
knowing his skill.
but great answer, great question, but not if it's tied into tonight. Because to me, winning is everything.
Right.
I don't compromise winning. Either you win or you lose. That's what I was taught, and that's the way I operate. Tonight, he was a better man, and that's cut and dry. You can't water down that. You can't add anything to that. He deserved to be respected amongst all the writers. And I'm gonna say this in front of everybody. I don't know how they're gonna tally things up in the next Oscar couple months or whatever, but he's a strong candidate for Fighter of the Year. He's a strong candidate for Fighter of the Year. I really, listen, y'all don't want to do the vote. I'm just telling you. That's my opinion. You know why? Because ain't no one out there would have fought a fight like that. I don't believe. with me the way he did. He was smart, he was patient, he didn't get caught up and emotional when I tried to suck him in. And that was part of the early strategy that worked good for him. One more, you.
At this point in the game, if you decide to walk away, do you feel that you can pass the torch down to a guy that's going to carry it?
To pass the torch in light heavyweight division or pass the torch in boxing period? Well, he already got the torch. I don't have to pass it. He got the torch tonight. See, Sergey, he had, tell him. You know, I can speak Russian now. You want me to tell him? I can't. Tell him he already had the torch in the light heavyweight division. Because he established himself. Yes. Yes. I feel comfortable to say that as a light heavyweight champion, that if he wants to stay there and defend it, he's going to have it for a long time. It's up to him how long he want to keep it. He can keep it long as he kept the middleweight division belt for 12 years. It's up to him, and that's in time. We don't know yet. But I know right now, tonight, I can say that I'm not glad that I didn't win, but I can say that it's in good hands. Thank you.
Bernard, can we get a picture with both of you? Can we get a picture with both of you right there? There we go. Hold it there. Over here. Thank you.
Baby. And me against you, against you.
If I know he was watching me when he was in high school, I would have got the hell out of there 10 years ago.
So now that we're going to hear from the champion in a moment. Now that Bernard has made most of my speech for me, I don't have much left to say. We really appreciate his class and his incredible effort tonight. But as he said, the torch has been passed. I have a couple thoughts. One is just the moment I sat down, I realized the last time I sat in that chair, the great Arturo Gatti was sitting next to me in that one. And I can't think of anyone who it gives me more pleasure to say that he is the man sitting there now than the man who has taken his place. I think he's going to have a great history in this room, in this building, in this sport, and nothing makes me happier than to be able to introduce him to you. I learned a long time ago in this business that generally you get the outcome in these great fights, the big fights, you get the outcome that is least likely, the one nobody expected. And I think tonight, to watch Sergey Kovalev outbox a great boxer, to go in there with John David's game plan and literally put on a clinic on how to box against a great boxer is pitch a shutout. I don't think that's anything anybody would have expected, and I do think that is the least likely outcome. We got it. We found out he can go 12 rounds. We found out that he can box with the very best in the world, and again, Bernard said it all. The title is in very good hands. It's going to stay there for a long, long time. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you WBO, WBA, and IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, the unified champion of the world, Sergey Crusher Kovalev.
Hello. Again, to everybody, I want to say only one thing is the most important for me, that I got my dream, one of my dreams in professional boxing. It's a unification fight, and I got 2 more titles. It's very exciting things for me, and I wanna thank to my team, Main Events, and group of my coach, John Del Jackson, Derek, and Kwan and Don Turner, my manager Egis Klimas, and very big respect to Bernard Hopkins for this opportunity. He's 49 years old, it's unbelievable his age, in fight with me. 12 rounds, I was very surprised. I hurt all my hands to punch his head. He's very very hard punches. Very big respect to him, and thanks to Golden Boy Promotion to make this opportunity for me. To all my fights, to everybody who came to this arena, Borough Hall Arena, who watched HBO last night. Any questions, please?
Lem, we'll start with you.
Yeah, have you talked to your wife yet?
No, I didn't yet because I do right now my job.
How hard was it? How hard was it? He just said he held your son the day after he was born, or a couple days after. How hard was it not to be there and to be here?
Ciao. I think that my son will understand everything, and my wife understand everything, because what I'm doing right now, I'm doing for my family, for my future and the future of my family. You know, like if no fight, and will be at home with my wife and with my child, not fight. When I get the money, when I get 2 more titles, you know, like on the street, no. I did enough job in Russia on the street. Right now, I wanna fight with the best fighters in the world on HBO.
Kevin, Sergey here.
Sergey, 2 questions. Was there a point early in the fight where you said, this is easier than I thought it was going to be, as you were hitting him and blocking him?
No, it was not easy than I thought. It was how I thought, you know. It's I was ready for 12 rounds. It was I fought with the best fighter in the world in light heavyweight. It's Bernard Hopkins. Come on, he's a very great boxer.
And you said you had a lot of jobs in Russia on the streets. What were some of those jobs?
What I did?
Yeah, what were some of your jobs?
I washed the cars. I sold newspapers when I was a child, but not for all life, you know. I began get some money from the boxing since 15 years old, 14 years old, you know. Small money, but it was more motivation. If you win a Russian championship, you have a bonus. It was a big motivation, you know, like, but right now it's the more motivation, because different fights, different money, different team, different motivations. Yes.
Sergey, you say you want to fight the best.
Hang on, Dave.
Sorry.
Questions both for Sergey as well as for John David Jackson. What was the strategy that you had brought into the fight? I noticed that you did have, Sergey, you were doing the right-hand counter over his jab, over his left hook. What was your approach, and also what did you train for Bernard to do and to respond to?
What you saw, it was a strategy. Yes.
Hang on.
The strategy was pretty much what Sergey did. Walk him down behind the jab, go to the body. You know, Bernard's a great fighter, but his time has come, and you know he had to do what he needed to do. That was not like a one-shot knockout. You wouldn't get that. So he had to use that jab and make Bernard feel the body shot, would slow Bernard down and allow him to every now and then be successful with his combinations and drop Bernard once and stagger him a couple of times. But it was an easy task, and we knew that going in. That'd be tough to not only trying to stop him, but to try to knock him out. So we weren't looking for the knockout. We were looking to dissect him each round and hopefully have it turn out the way it did. Unanimous decision in our favor.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
Back there.
Any place. Any place. Yeah, any place. For me, doesn't matter where, but it's Katie. All questions to Katie.
Figure it out.
If she will say, need to get this fight, I'm ready.
John.
Sergey,
John.
You said earlier you wanted to fight the best. Now you have 3 belts, so arguably you're the best. Who are next on the list? Can you name a couple of guys that you think are good enough to face you now?
Hold on, Russian comes. Russians comes, you know, like right now will be more interesting fighters. Right now I can't say somebody. Right now live one legend, you know, like, but I think so. To Bernard, you need to stop already his career, you know, like 49 years old. Come on, it's the greatest record in the boxing world. 49. He was holder 2 titles. I don't know. I can't do this in the future. I don't know, but right now, who is one more champion? WBC, Stevenson. Yeah, maybe he will be next opponent. We'll see. All questions to my promoter.
Thank you.
Sergey, Bernard, he's not just frustrating in the ring. He usually gets inside of his opponent's head and gets them intimidated before the fight, but he didn't do that with you. How important was that, and what did you do to make sure he didn't get inside of your head?
I don't know how to answer this question. Because my mind ready for everything, you know, like I lived when I grew up and what I passed in my life made me very strong, you know, like I'm ready for everything in the world, and what not broken me, making me just stronger. And Bernard grew up in some ghetto, here in America. But where I grew up, it's maybe same. And my mind was ready for everything, like what he can offer, you know, like. I can answer like that, so.
Thank you.
Back there, hand up.
It's very hard to penetrate the Spanish market sometimes. It's not a game. You got to fight it at the right division. Would you be willing to come down to like 168 and try to challenge somebody like John Besson and build a name? Sort of like
John, this guy, I told John to just say no. John, just say no.
Just say no.
This guy's almost a cruiserweight, right now.
I'm feeling very comfortable in my division. Why I need to change something if I have success in my division, you know, like.
I just won the title. Yeah, I won it.
I didn't finish clean up this division. You know, like I need to get one more title. It's my next goal.
And I think the Latino market is going to appreciate a guy who's a great boxer,
welcome to
a great puncher.
light heavyweight.
Yes.
He can come up.
We can't cut off his arm, so Chavez is going to have to come up.
Yeah, welcome to 75. No problem.
That's right. You can't make 168.
Last question, Mike. Over there.
Thank you. You know, yeah, he's a professor of the boxing. How I said before the fight. Yes, it's true. But sometimes student can be better than his teacher. Yes. But what I got from this lesson,
that's what happened.
12 rounds of the boxing.
Because he's the official challenger.
He's a legend.
And he looks to follow.
How need to box in 12 rounds?
Important to ask.
Everybody asked, can I box in 12 rounds or not? I showed that I can to fight in 12 rounds. I got this experience, to fight 12 rounds.
Was that almost more rewarding than getting the knockout? Was that almost more rewarding to sustain that type of a, intensity over 12 rounds against a Bernard Hopkins?
I tried to finish this fight in 12 rounds, over of 12 rounds, but I didn't because he has very hard head. Yes, I hurt my hands. Like really. Come on. He got a lot of hard punch from me, but he stayed on his legs like unbelievable. I was surprised, but I tried. I'm happy for. I said before, any win, any victory, score decision, or I'm happy for this victory, because this was a big fight. I'm sure that is the most interesting fight for boxing fans and boxing world in this year.
When did you earn your
I think.
Yeah, one more question, and I need to call to my wife, please.
Just want to know when did you hurt your hand during the fight?
When?
When did you hurt your
second round?
Second round, really?
Yeah, from my jab.
And on that note, I think we got some vodka and caviar waiting, and Sergey's going to
call my wife,
She's going to get really mad soon. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you so much
thank you
for everybody.
everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.
Say